Peace and blessings. What's going on? I'm Chivatal and I'm back with another tool for your toolkit. Today is Monday, and in honor of Monday, Moon Day, I want to return to toxic femininity, subjects about sisterhood and how we work with the divine feminine as women and within us. Peace, Vishnu's loose. How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. And if you enjoy it, please let me know. Peace, y'all. Peace. What's going on, Fairy Gang? All right. So I'm going to jump right into this. The subject, peace, Darwin. Long time no see. Hi, Master Key. Hey, Anna. Hey, Tamika. Hey, Red Nappy Summer. Peace, Angie. Welcome. So this is just going to be a real laid-back conversation. Please feel free to, comment. Let me know your thoughts. Drop any questions. Share your experiences. The subject matter for today is abandonment. And toxic femininity, the goal is to address some things that, as women, we do to one another or we engage in that do not help to propel us forward, either in our development spiritually, socially, economically, and I like to open the conversations. I'm open to hear your opinions. If you don't agree, that's fine. Be respectful. But here we go. So what sparked my interest in having this conversation today about abandonment, I realized I didn't start off with the word abandonment. I was thinking about how many women end up in a bit of unintended isolation from their circles due to relationships that they're in. And recently, one of my fairy godchildren came to visit me, and we had a dope conversation. And to be honest, I really loved her approach to one of the types of situations that occur. So I'll just touch on the first type of situation. So for her, she was addressing with one of her sister friends, a woman who sought some refuge and some sisterhood, really liked her mind, wanted to build with her, liked her energy. Of course, she's doing this work. She's rather peaceful now because she's been doing this work. And she's able to, share different knowledge of self, whether it's with herbs, how to eat, how to pray, how to manifest things. Dope environment, and then also a really good ear, as I would hope all of us learn to cultivate our deep listener. All right? The deep listener is very important to society because without that level of presence, without the depth of listening, oftentimes we'll miss the point, we'll miss what people truly need. Okay? While doing so, self-preservation, of course, is key. But what I want to address is that in her situation, she recognized that this woman who came into her life was in a sort of danger, right? Initially, a sort of danger. She felt, pardon the background noise. She felt that there was some type of danger on meeting her because her intuition is really strong, which is dope. You don't want to ignore those things, right? You also don't want to just immediately attack anyone for what you might feel when you first meet someone. Because if you have not already gotten to a level of all the way fine-tuning and refinement of where your intuition speaks, you may be misjudging someone when you meet them. So you want to be aware of the energy and allow some space to figure out what's going on. So it was brought to her attention that the young lady actually was in some kind of danger because she was actually attacked and had a situation or whatever the case may be. All right. And her response to it was to let the young lady know that she was aware of what she's going through and was willing to create a safe haven for the woman so long as she was able to maintain privacy and respect the boundaries of like where the safe haven would be, which is a dope idea. All women here, or all people who are friends of women here, should definitely hold whatever space you have where you can go to a friend's house that no one else really knows about like that for safety, or a family member that you know while you're there, you're totally surrounded by individuals that got your back. Everyone should have a safe haven. And if you have a safe haven, you know you're in a situation that's kind of shaky, you want to keep that safe haven sacred by keeping it to yourself. That's why you get to learn someone before you just show all the places that you go, everything that you're involved in. All right, but I digress. So she said to the sister openly that, you know, you can have a safe haven, but while I'm recognizing you have yourself attached to an energy that can be detrimental to the safe haven that I want to share with you, you got to keep that separate. All right. What I love about that type of engagement is that the sisterhood and what requirements are around keeping that sisterhood strong and safe and in a place where it's fertile for growth and development. It's open, it's on the table. All right. The other side that I want to discuss, so the sister did end up choosing just not to take the safe haven and to staying in whatever toxic type crazy situation she was in, and just remotely communicating as opposed to bringing that drama to the person's doorstep. And so the only way that became an option, right? The reason why that was an outcome was because the sister knew up front, like, this is how my sis feels about the situation. I have a responsibility for keeping my drama at bay, and I gotta respect her. So if I'm choosing to be in something, I can just be in that, whatever the mess is at the moment. That's a choice. We're grown-ups, right? We can choose whatever mess we want to be in. But without that communication, the sister could have easily brought the drama to her doorstep, not knowing how she really felt, right? She could have just dropped her and cut off communication and not know exactly what it was that was driving her friend to be silent. And therein lies a certain kind of problem, right? And I'll talk about just contracts. Contracts are just agreements between two parties, like, this is how we're going to engage with one another. Just like when you lease a house, an apartment, if you pick up and leave and you don't communicate with the landlord or whoever you made the contract with, it doesn't matter if you left furniture there or you left it clean. Due to that contract, what that person will say is that you abandoned the space. If you come to a job and then you just decide that you're not going to be there any longer, you're charged with abandonment. Okay? And abandonment really is like you are held to a certain commitment or degree of responsibility, and you decided to just drop the responsibility without communicating at all. Because it's not abandonment if you communicate and then everyone's clear about what's going on. So what I find interesting about abandonment and toxic femininity is that there are some short circles developed amongst women where there are things that maybe everyone does not agree with. I used a relationship type situation with the young lady, but there can be other things. There can be some addiction. There can be self-abuse. There can be child abuse. There can be domestic abuse. There can be just living dirty. It can be you're just lazy. You know, whatever that is. But what I find interesting is that in these sisterhoods, I'm going to say sisterhoods, because when it's a real sisterhood and it's authentic and it's true, right? Whatever it is that would make you, or you decide like you want to separate yourself from the individual. The same way you guys came together and you communicated all of the things that kept you strong and kept you together, there was a respect there. And that same respect to the relationship should exist even if it needs to part. We talk so much about soulmates, and we talk so much about like spirit groups, and we talk so much about how men or fathers or people are dealing with abandonment. Abandonment from their mate, or I deal with abandonment issues because my parents left me, or I deal with abandonment issues because um, I was just on my own. It was really hard for a long time. But the same issue is within friendships, because friendships are supposed to be able to go through things. Um, they're supposed to communicate. You're supposed to know what's going on. So whereas there can be a judgment about, let's say for the relationship parts, okay, well, this friend, they're gone, they're doing their thing, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna ghost. We're not supposed to ghost on our friends. We're not supposed to ghost on our sisters. You understand? Ghosting on your sister is the same type of abandonment that is felt at a spirit level, emotionally, as if as the same as a parent leaving or a child leaving. There's a grieving process that ends up occurring, and there's no communication. I think part of that toxic, I call it toxic because it's full of fear at some degree. It's full of, like, if you feel some type of way, you should have the confidence in knowing that if you participated in some level of friendship with another woman, that you can be real with them. You can tell them exactly how you feel. You can say, even, I don't want this friendship any longer. You can say, um, whatever it is, like, this is the issue. You know, a lot of times we rely on our closest relationships for our biggest growth. And walking away or abandoning something doesn't bring us the same kind of interactive growth. Something's going to happen, if you are in the quiet and you have to deal with yourself. You have to, all right, well, here's this sever, and you can either assume that it's a real sever, or you can now like decide it's a sever. But that's the trouble in it. It's an open wound. It doesn't have any medicine. We don't really know how to treat it. And then if individuals want to come back, there's some type of confusion, because there's like, well, what happened? What happened during that time? So I just want to say, as a sisterhood, if you want to always maintain a clean relationship, it does not mean you don't get down and dirty. It means you're able to get down and dirty, honest, scrap, yell, curse, whatever it is you need to say, get it off your chest, and then you can clean it up. But creating these situations where there's this brewing underneath, it's like an infection. And at some point, the person either has to lancet themselves and just let out whatever and review things on their own, and they're left to their own stories, really. Because in a relationship, there's more than one story. And that's why I say abandonment is so toxic in sisterhood. If you're left with your own story, you never really truly know if you've gotten to the source of what created that engagement between the two. Y'all understand where I'm coming from? The other thing is, we run away. Okay, abandonment is running away, right? You signed up to do something, and you don't say anything, you're like, I'm just dip. I'm going to disappear. But why are we running? Why don't we be standing on solid ground when we decide to change directions? There has to be some type of pause. And a lot of times before we get to that pause, there's the buildup. And if you don't address the buildup, then of course it seems much easier to just run away. Not addressing the issue is not powerful, right? Neglecting the issue is not powerful. It's not really standing in your full power. Do you agree? So I think it's easier for us to, share memes about what we love seeing each other do for each other's crown. I think it's easier to be in alignment with women that are exactly like us, or to be in alignment with women who support like the shadow part of ourselves, because at least we have somebody we can kind of be bad with, right? But the deepest, most richest relationships are going to come from ones where you're able to be curious, ask when you don't understand something, and to be able to receive an answer without being attacked for asking, and to be able to disagree or to call your sister out in whatever means that you need to, privately, preferably, right? Because it's between you two. But I have to say that it's one of the most honorable feelings, and it's fulfilling to have had the experiences of having sister friends that at one point in time we were like this tight. And through my own reflection, like I said, like I'm sharing through my reflection, I'm like, I have this story running in my mind about why this individual and I are no longer friends. But it was not enough for me. I didn't need an explanation from the person, so to say. I just wanted to be clear of what my participation was in the story, because I had a negative story. I had a story about why me and the individual were not cool. I was upset with them, but I had to address the fact that I was upset with a friend, right? A friend. And I was unable to, because I made the choice not to. I'm going to take the unable. I made the choice not to tell them immediately when I was upset with them, like, I'm upset with you. It's like I had this expectation that they would come along and feel that I was upset with them and say, hey, why haven't I heard from you? It doesn't always work that way. If it's something in your own spirit, you're going to have to bite the bullet and be accountable for your own stuff, your own participation in it. I said to myself, all right, I got this story going on that this person did this. I wasn't feeling how they moved. And I'm seeing that they still ain't even reach out to see if I'm good. Everybody always thinks that I'm good. So, I'm just a strong one and nobody cares. But I was like, that's weak. I felt that was weak. Okay? I was like, it's impossible that I have had a friendship with someone and I could have this story and I'm going to take this story with me to my grave. I was like, nah. I reached out to the friend and asked if it would be okay for us to talk. And we ain't talked since the last time. I just went my way. No argument ensued. There was no fight. There was no back and forth. There was nothing. All right. And I reached out to him, and I let them know ahead of time, right? Because I teach you all how to open up space for communication. I let them know ahead of time that I wanted to talk to them about something that was going to address why we don't speak. And I let them know I didn't lead the conversation with, well, I don't talk to you no more because you did such and such. I led with the real facts of how it happened. I said inside of me, I was feeling like this. I got my own story running, and I never reached out to hear your story. I never even reached out to let you know that I was running a story about you, and I didn't tell you that I was running the story. But I'm holding this, and I wanted to just let you know. And the response I got was, Chi, we don't always see eye to eye. But one thing I can always count on is that you will always be honest and say how you really feel. And I can do the same. Because there's some people who they overtake relationships in a way where they can say whatever they want to say and they honest, but they don't want to hear nobody else's opinion. They don't want to hear anybody else's feedback. So I chose in that moment not to abandon the friendship, but to address the friendship and to see where it really is in the light of what each of our stories were. And it gave me the opportunity to, one, I didn't ask for an apology. I received one, which was more authentic, right? Two, I got to find out that my sis was in a different place emotionally when we experienced that kind of break in our relationship. And that let me know that she was growing, I was growing. She was going through something, I was going through something. But now we have a space where we know that regardless of how often we communicate, that there is some safety here, that we're not just going to abandon one another in stories. So to me, that's power. That's clean, that's fruitful femininity. You don't have to always be on the same page. But can you at least let a sister know how you feel and what your judgments are and where you're going or how you want to move forward? That's power. That's powerful. That's all I want to share with y'all today. I'm going to look at your comments and I'm going to see if there's any questions or things that you shared that I want to touch on. Master Key said abandonment is running away. She was in denial, blaming people all the time. I was the problem. Yeah. What you running for? Stand where you are and say, I don't want to be right here in your space any longer. Or, address what kinds of things might need to shift. We make the mistake of assuming that our friends should know when we feel a certain way instead of communicating our feelings. I'm guilty of this as well. All the time, And what we do with our friends, we do with our mates, we do with our children, we do with our family, we do with our jobs. I address that in the Saturn and the getting mastery over time. You're working, you feeling overworked, but you don't even ever say nothing. You just assume they should know, like they're giving me somebody else's job. I'm overworked. Nah, if you're going to do it and shut up, you're going to do it. And then someone touched on intuition versus assumption. Now, I'm going to say intuition versus judgment because those assumptions come from your judgments. And Latrice, she said, there's always two sides to every situation. Then there's the truth. And we can't get to the truth unless we address both sides of the situation. True indeed. So if the truth matters to you, then lead more with integrity in your relationships and be upfront with how you feel. Address things with people that you so-called value Because in sisterhood, you're supposed to value one another. You're supposed to value each other so much that, you know, if you got poo-poo stains on your clothes, so you say, hey, sister, let me pull you up right quick. I won't let you know, like, you got a stain there. That's what it is. If your sister need to brush her teeth, you know, don't keep on dodging her breath. Let her sister know, I think you need to change your diet and see a dentist. That's all. All right? So I'm looking forward to seeing you all continue to do this work. I like sharing with you all real life situations. Ghosting disgusts me. I know there's other people who say you don't owe anybody an apology or you don't owe anybody an explanation of why you disappeared. No, you don't owe them. You always owe it to yourself, though, to be clear in your relationships. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to that. Okay? Of course, you don't owe anybody that. Karma cleansing has helped me not to be a jerk. Ghosting people is serious. Yeah. Yeah. Leaving unfinished business. Like, that's why you're here. You got unfinished business. So if you want to really maximize on your experiences, it makes sense, right? Let me just close doors where I need to close them. That kind of abandonment affects moving forward in all your relationships. It slows it down all the time. So while y'all are reviewing your relationships, if you have anything on your heart, address it with yourself first, not blaming anyone else. Don't cop out. And if it ain't dangerous to your entire existence, address some things. This will be the time to do that. We're in a time frame where being separated and choosing sides and all that really tears us apart energetically. It tears us apart. Our immune system is torn up by that because there's a subtle anxiety around how you navigate it. When you can come together and recognize each other's differences, you're able to address where you truly want to be without having this war zone constantly existing between us. It seems we get confused with the narratives in our relationships and hurt ourselves or others in them. The narratives are the stories we tell ourselves and the stories that other people are telling us. Sometimes people tell us a story that's not true and we run with it. But when we run with that story or that narrative and it doesn't show up to be what it really is, then we address it. We address it. And if you find that you're in a relationship with your sisters, but you can't address the elephant in the room, you can't address the wins, the losses, the pain, the bliss, you can't address it openly, whatever it is, then you have to first figure out, did you create a space where you can't engage, people can't express themselves? Have you reached out? Have you tried to cross the line and bridge the gap? Or have you just sat in your own story? There's a difference. Now, if you've tried to bridge the gap and there's no bridging the gap, then you've done what you can and the universe has to take care of the rest. It's life lessons. We can't always blame, oh, well, I can't be close with friends. Females can't be friends because they so catty and they do this and they do that. And then we look to guys and we have the classical, like, bros over hoes and, like, the brothers always have each other's backs. I mean, we know that that's not always true either. So let's, like, lean on what we do for ourselves as women in relationship to one another. Okay? Because I'm sure this information can be helpful to our brothers as well. Peace is Uziel. Right? I'm definitely addressing this much needed aspect of our sisterhood. Okay? So I'm not going to keep you all too long. Definitely shouts out and happy Memorial Day to the truth that there are individuals who have lost their lives and continue to sign up to lose their lives in order to protect the freedoms that are enjoyed here. Shout out to all of my family, Navy life, who have definitely seen some trying times out there on the sea. So respect and salute to you all. As without the soldiers, do we have a kingdom? We have something to protect? That's a whole nother story. I'll get into that another time. All right. I love y'all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And please do share your thoughts and your ideas, your discoveries in HOC. And I'll catch up with y'all. Peace.